Okay, Aaron, I need you to tie up, have at least 4 or 5 of these for when you come down in case we end up going to a certain lake. You can see I'm showing you one example here. It's got like a rust brown and wood duck head on it or thorax on it. You can do them this way. They work really well. Or the one I'm going to tie, which has a bit of a half back on it, which you don't necessarily have to do, but it works really well too. It's like olive thread, gold tinsel. You can use a small red wire or a very small red wire or a small holographic red tinsel, whatever you want. Pheasant tail for the half back and some peacock herl for the thorax. So we'll tie on you're going to use a fairly good sized white bead. You're on a size 12 hook, so you know this is a 3 times long size 12, so it's a fairly good sized bomber hook that we're making. So I'm going to just probably in fast motion tie on the gold tinsel and the red wire and get the body built up. Now, because I used the red wire, I partially covered the gold rib with the wire, kind of overlaid it. It's also spaced out, the ribs are spaced out fairly well because it's a big fly. If you're using red holographic tinsel, I do the tinsel first and then I partially overlay the gold rib so that only about half of the tinsel shows. Now I'll tie on the pheasant tail and the peacock herl. Actually, first of all, I'm going to tie on with the brown thread. You can use you can use whatever color you want. You can use green if you want, but I like to use brown or wood duck, rust brown, whatever. Try and make sure you get the light part of the pheasant tail. Okay, so I'm trying to keep this thorax quite small. And I'm going to actually go in front of that once or twice if it'll fit, but once is fine. Kind of hides the bead a little tiny bit more. I think I'll do it again. Tying off back at the end of the thorax. And cutting off this stuff. And then I leave a little bit, maybe 1.5 millimeters here. So it's like a little wing bud sticking back. A little bit of glue on the thread. And tie off back at the back of it. Couple of wraps. And take your Zap-A-Gap and cover up the body like you normally would, and you're good to go. And we want to have either like that or maybe a couple like that, and a few like that. Probably want to have 4 or 5 of those in case we're at this lake and you need to lend some to Curtis.